please welcome Mateo Zimmermann, Cemex Ventures, and Werner Bittner, Umdasch Group Ventures. All right, so guys, please join me. So Mateo is an investment manager at Cemex Ventures, investing in startups and launching new ventures around construction tech. He is experienced in industrialized construction, a trend that Cemex Ventures has been following very closely, as well as advanced supply chain solutions. So hi, and Werner Heinz Bittner has been working internationally practically throughout his whole life, right? In previous managerial positions. He worked in the pharmaceutical, graphic arts, as well as in the surface technology sector. For about 4 years, he has been with the Umdasch Group and is the CEO of Umdasch Group Ventures, which is a strategic development hub of the group. Did I say the name right? Is it Umdasch? Yes. As such, Umdasch Group Ventures is a lasting investor in young technology firms, as well as an internal company builder. So, Mateo, you have 4 minutes. You have some slides. Let's go for it.
Great. Thanks. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here. I'll go very quickly on what Cemex Ventures is and why we're here. Cemex Ventures is the open innovation arm of Cemex. Cemex is one of the largest building material companies in the world, known in Israel as Ready Mix. And we have, can you go through the slides? So we have very quickly 4 activities. So what we mean by open innovation is first is the Idea Lab. So we have insights that we create both for Cemex, that's where we collaborate with Cemex in terms of trends, technologies that are happening in the construction industry. And the other part is obviously to feed okay, what are our priorities in terms of what we should be doing, where should we be looking at, where should we be investing in as Cemex Ventures. So that takes me to the second activity, which is the venture capital. We are also as a corporate venture capital. We invest in companies globally in seed and Series A, so companies that are commercialization, because obviously, as it was discussed in the previous panel, selling in this industry is very complicated, so we help them navigate there. And we have also we incubate some ideas with other corporates or alone. And actually, we're doing something in offsite and modular construction, which is the topic today. And the last part is we are creating what we call an ecosystem. So it's a very fragmented industry, like Miraf was saying. So we try to partner together with other companies in the sector to help this industry. And we do different activities like a startup competition, and we're launching a fund as well. So today I'm going to discuss very quickly on offsite construction. So just to break some kind of ideas, someone mentioned before prefabrication. It's the last time I'm gonna mention prefabrication because we think this is the next wave of prefabrication. That's why we don't call it prefabrication. So let's think as prefabrication as building screws, which is for a car, which is great. But we're thinking about the next step, which is systems. And system is high value added systems that are integrated, that are more complex. So it integrates, for example, and most of the people think about volumetric units like rooms, but it's not only that. It's just elements that are will integrate more value. It could be a panel, for example, a facade panel that is fully fabricated in a factory, that integrates windows, MEP, it integrates sensors, it integrates different elements. So it has a lot of value. It can travel much better than just a prefabricated panel. And obviously, it takes a lot of pain points from the industry, like different trays that are involved in a facade are all integrated in a factory. So just a few examples. This is volumetric. This is combining traditional construction with a core, with modules and other things. So when I said panelized construction, this is, for example, on a project, just the facade. You see here just the facade. What is being completed in a factory. This is a real project, a unique project that we're monitoring very closely. And as you see, the panels there on the bottom, it's with the windows integrated. and the different MEP and everything in place. So, and why is this relevant? We touch on a few topics we think this is very relevant and one of our priorities. It's because digitization is great. It solves a lot of pain points, but it's just a continuous improvement. It's a very inefficient industry. So if you digitize a very inefficient industry, it's still inefficient, right? So here we're changing kind of on the top. I think I'm out of time, so.
Now does it work? Yes? Okay. So your 4 minutes are over. I'll ask you a few questions just after Werner has his 4 minutes. So go for it. You can stand if you want. You can walk on stage, whatever makes you comfortable.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me. I would like to start with the founding theory or the founding problem of Umdasch Group Ventures. Well, we detected a large discrepancy between the challenge and the ability of the industry. So the challenge is, as you can see, an dramatically increasing pace in urbanization on the globe, dramatically increasing population on the globe. By the year 2100, we will have 11.2 billion people on the planet, and we will have more than 80% of urbanization rate by that. Everybody who can calculate quickly in the head means we'll reach the result that we will need a lot of the additional infrastructure and housing in a very, very short amount of time. And if you look at the abilities of the industry, you can see what pretty much every study, regardless whether it is from McKinsey, from Boston Consulting, or whoever detects an increasing productivity development gap between classic manufacturing and construction. Stated in a more positive way, it means we have a lot of potential for improvement, and that's a good message. So I would like to touch base a little bit on two solutions, what we have found to solve this problem. First of all is what we call a portable precast plant. It's a completely innovative precast plant, which is designed in a way that it fits into 40-foot standard sea freight containers. It can be transported globally to any major construction site on the globe. 4 weeks after the containers have arrived at the job site, the plant is fully operational and has can cast 4 times a day per mold chamber, and it produces up to 300,000 square meters concrete panel surface per year in unit. Of course, it's a modular concept, so you can put more than one plant next to each other, and it provides local added value because it depends on local workforce, which is very important for especially continents like Africa and other regions in the world, right? So here you can see the production process, which is pretty a standard precast process with rebar preparation, channel fitting, positioning in batteries, pouring, shipping, stripping, initial curing, transportation, final setting. Very, very efficient. That's about the first solution I wanted to introduce to you. The second thing is 3D construction printing. When you go to the internet, you will find, or you will have the impression that everything is already there, everything is solved, wonderful new world. Reality is actually the opposite. So if we would like to cluster or try to have a segmentation of what is happening globally in this sector, we can come up, or at least I came up with these 4 technological approaches. What is the problem, actually? The first is, at the end of the day, a new technology needs to match itself with the traditional technologies. So at the end of the day, everybody arrives at the cost-time quality triangle, and you better be at least as competitive as the established processes. I don't see this as of now, frankly. The next problem we see is the materials. Construction is a high-volume business, so you need a very reliable material preferably at an inexpensive cost level. This is invented already. We call it concrete. Therefore, you better print with concrete. What we see is a lot of special mortars being printed with economically and technical problems in our perspective. Also,
Oh.
regulatory issues is big because if you're not part of the building permit or codes, you don't have a market.
Okay, so please join me again. A few questions for both of you. First of all, Mateo, you talked about industrialized construction or modular construction. Why is it different than prefabrication?
So, few things here. So, it's first is integration, and then the complexity of the. So, prefabrication is to me it's elements, it's single material, single purpose elements. Whereas offsite construction is systems that work together, so that integrate a lot of value, different elements, different brands combined in a product that is a system that is working together for fast installation on site and solving the big pain points. Obviously, it's a offsite construction. Well, I mean, prefabrication is standard elements, so it's mass production of standard elements. Whereas offsite construction, it's mass customization. So here the idea is it's a new construction process. That's why there are terms that are very important in this segment, which is design for manufacturing and assembly. So it requires a lot of collaborations from the very beginning, because you're not doing just low value and standard elements. You're doing specific products for every project, because we know every construction project is different, so it requires a different solution.
Right, okay. So Werner, precast construction, it has existed for many years. How can it really disrupt the industry from your perspective?
Well, I think the main difference in our approach is that the mobility, typically precast plants are stationary, so our concept is globally mobile. So you go there, you produce as fast as productive as you can. The project is done, you pack up, you go to the next site. That's one very big innovation aspect, I think. Also, the technological concept produces a lot more productivity, or allows for a lot more productivity. Plus, it offers a technology to regions or country where precast is in existence as of now.
Mateo, can you give us some examples of players in this ecosystem that you're talking about, this industrialized construction?
So funny thing is actually that there are a lot of players and they're getting a lot of investment. Actually, we made some numbers, and in 2018, 60% in the investment in ConTech actually was in offsite and modular construction. So it's a high number. Obviously, there are big players there like Catera, Prescient. There was Top Hat. There was some in the UK and the US. It's a lot of investment. So we've been in touch with over 100 companies in this space, doing different things. So there is, I think Jeremy told before, there is no one size fits all. That applies also to modular construction. There are some guys that are doing some very specific things, like for hotels, for example. The other ones are just doing other more, so less integration, right? But yeah. Here, the important thing, I believe, since we're talking about fabrication, the main word here is scalability. I mean, if you're producing 40 homes a year, 40 units a year, that's not cost efficient.
Right. 3D printing, Werner. I saw a YouTube video about 3D printing houses, like, I don't know what, like 7-8 years ago. Is it real? How close are we to this revolution? And will it really disrupt it?
Well, in my opinion, there is little that really can be seen that has a market, in my opinion. Well, first of all, the building code issue. Secondly, the material issue, in my opinion. So we firmly believe, and we are invested in ConTech cooperation. We really firmly believe that concrete is the only material that should be printed for technical and economical reason. The reason why hardly anybody is doing it is not because it is so ingenious to not use concrete. It's very, very complicated to do so. And I think that will be one of the decisive factors.
And when will we see actual mass market solutions, in your opinion?
Well, I can only speak for ConTech Corporation, and starting this year, we will start printing buildings.
All right. So you're
Actually, not buildings. Buildings is actually wrong. Actually, we print house shells
house shells.
in phase one. Contour crafting is actually the combination of 3D construction printing using concrete plus automation. So at the end of the day, contour crafting is providing a turnkey object.
Cool. So we have 2 more minutes, 1 minute each. Is it your first visit to Israel?
No.
Second time.
Second time. And yours? Seventh. Okay. So give me maybe 1 or 2 examples of Israeli startups or tech in your field, which is really mind-blowing, interesting, or you're really excited about, Mateo.
I mean, we have been following this ecosystem for a long time. I think it's a great place to be. Actually, it's on our roadmap as Cemex Ventures as one of our top priority countries, because we believe it's all moving in the right direction. I think we see a lot of support from government, which is key here. We also see in terms of regulation that is going the right direction with green buildings. And we have engaged with a lot of companies here. So we have good contacts, and it's nice to see them here in person. So
Names. Do you have names?
yeah, I mean, we have been in touch with Meira from Versatile Natures for some time. Actually, we did a pitch last year with her. We've been in touch with Inside, with Okibo. I mean,
Cool.
a lot of
Nice.
companies.
Nice. Werner, what have you seen here?
Well, actually, I've seen a lot. I'm afraid that I will have to disappoint you naming the companies, but the reason is we are in a due diligence processes, actually in 2, more or less.
Okay. For
So,
investment?
Yes, for investments.
Okay.
And our policy is that to not tell about it before the closing.
Okay, so good luck for the entrepreneurs. Maybe they're here in the room, maybe not. So thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for the interesting talks. And enjoy Israel. Come more than 2 times, like learn from Werner.
I'll be back.
Okay.